When was the last day you remember being a child? Not just young, not just small, but wildly and unapologetically free. I want you to think of a time when you had popsicle on your face or mud on your jeans. If you need to, go ahead, close your eyes and think of that moment. That moment when you were absolutely certain that you were a wizard or a rock star or a dinosaur. Because in that one moment, that is the magic, where you are problem solving with imagination. You are dreaming with your whole body. And then you grew up. You specialized. You optimized. And for many of us, we forgot. My name is James Bullard, and I am a representative of human creativity and heart today on this stage. I am a performer among programmers. I am a poet among engineers and educators. And I'm here to say that creativity, art, and imagination serve to inform this amazing tool we call artificial intelligence. Creativity isn't magic. It's biology. You follow your joy with no set path and you trust it to lead it wherever it is that you're going. That's whenever your brain activates what neuroscientists call your default mode network. That is the programming that runs in the back of your mind that instills imagination, empathy, as well as those beautiful flashes of insight. Marcus Raichle is the neuroscientist that was credited with mapping this default mode network. And he found that the brain was actually more active when you weren't focused on a specific task. So when you come up with these amazing ideas while you're showering or brushing your teeth or riding your bicycle down by the canals on a misty morning, that's when your brain's default mode network activates, whenever it starts to ignite your own genius. Since you've been listening to me talk, maybe a lot of us have already gone ahead and evolved into that default mode network. I'm going to give you 5 seconds to think of the craziest invention you can imagine. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. It is a self-cooling pillow. When you lie down to sleep at night, I like to put my face on something cool. Now it only stays that way for what, 7 minutes if we're lucky? Flip it. Another cool side. My self-cooling pillow continues to do that same thing. That is the magic. That is the birthplace of innovation. That's where the whole thing begins. Now, we are not machines, okay? So how do we operate in a world that's run by algorithms? We continue to invest our own creativity into the machine. Now, AI can definitely write a poem. What it cannot do is feel the lump in its throat when you read it back. AI can synthesize a symphony, but it cannot thrill as the crescendo reaches its climax in the second system. It can paint a beautiful portrait, but it cannot ache for the beauty of the masterpiece. What AI can do is it can continue to inform. The answer will continue to motivate the robotic arm. The painter gives the paintbrush to AI. It's amazing to see what we're doing right here in the Netherlands to go ahead and incorporate both the technology and the creativity of the human spirit. In Eindhoven, the university has both the Neuron Building as well as the Nijmegen project. And what they're using is architecture as well as artificial intelligence to build buildings that are they're not just energy efficient and spatially efficient, they invite, they entice, they create a system or an environment that involves and hopefully initiates this collaboration, this creativity. The thing is, we have to continue to feed this entire system with our own creativity. I don't like to think of it as As a feeding as much as I do in inspiration, we continue to give our human thought and creativity to the system, and it continues to sharpen and hone the tool. It continues to brighten the colors, so it continues to elevate the art that it helps us to create. Also, in Amsterdam, it's really interesting that coders are composing music. And it's a synthesis of symphony that is not only soul, but also software. I love to speak on the creativity of it, the art of it, but it's also, we need to make sure that we focus as well on the practical applications, because we like living indoors. We have to fill our stomachs. Therefore, we have to earn a living. Income is always one of those things. You can check in business as well as profit and loss margins. Creativity provides a return on investment that many don't take into account when they consider these kinds of things. Adobe released a study in 2019 that showed that companies and businesses that prioritized creativity outperformed their peers in annual revenue growth by a factor of up to 3.5. It also goes to show that LinkedIn, for 3 years running, has shown that creative thinking is the #1 skill that most employers are looking for. Not coding, not efficiency, creativity. Also in 2023, the World Jobs Report talked about the World Economic Forum said that creative thinking will be the second most important skill for the future of work, the first being analytical thinking. And why do you think that is? Because the only constant is change. The job market continues to evolve. The technology, the innovation continues to move forward, and only those applicants and candidates who have a mind towards the future, who know how to move sideways, to pivot and improvise, they are going to be the true assets to companies in the future. And so, whenever we think forward of something like that, what I would like to say is that every banker needs to dance. Every CEO needs to learn how to create an entire city out of Lego without using the instructions. Because this is where innovation begins. It's not just insight, it's also wonder. So let me ask that question one more time. What is the last day you remember being a child? And when is the last time you let yourself go back there? Because creativity isn't childish, it is profoundly human. It isn't optional, it's essential. Creativity is not being replaced by AI, it informs it. It fills it with more ideas and more art so that we can all move forward together. So what I would ask is that you put down the data and pick up your guitar. Sing us a song. Build a pillow fort. Dance in the kitchen. Wild abandon. Embarrass your children. Or don't. Maybe they'll love it. Because, yes, the world definitely needs smarter machines. But even more, it needs wilder humans. Thank you.